thank you so much for joining me today. If you've never watched this channel before, my name is Renee and I am a good enough mom, and here I like to share tips and tricks that make my life simpler and easier as a mom. And to all those that have been watching for a long time, thank you so much. I really appreciate your support. In this video we're going to be looking at some potatoes that I harvested, decluttering of our plastics cupboard, as well as some delicious croissants that my daughter made for us. So let's get started. For this week's projects, I'm going to start with some decluttering. I'll be decluttering my plastics cupboard. I don't know about you, but plastic containers seem to be attracted to my kitchen as if there is a magnet attracting them. So I'm starting by taking absolutely everything out of the cupboard. I then wash out the cupboards. Isn't it amazing how dirty the cupboards get, even though I only ever put clean stuff in? My daughter loves organizing, so she's helping me with this project. Then I take all the plasticware out of the containers that they are stored in. You can click on the link at the top of the screen for a video about why these plastic storage containers work so well for me, and a little story about how it came about that I bought them. Then I wash storage containers so that they can drip dry while we sort out all the plasticware. Next up we sort like with like, so all the bottles together, all the containers that fit into each other together. Try to find lids for all the containers. This way I can see what we have a lot of. And now I can see we have way too many plastic bottles. Next I pack back everything that we'll definitely keep. I'll keep all the character bottles and just 6 of these disposable bottles, seeing as we are 6 members of the family. In the first small box we keep all our bottles and cups. In the first big storage basket, all the big containers. In the second small container, all the measuring cups and small storage containers. In the second big storage basket, all the medium-sized containers, mostly with their lids on. I do keep way more than we need, seeing as we live in a third world country and we often have people coming to ask for food. So I need to have containers to put the food in that I don't need to get back again. The last 2 storage containers have all the bits and bobs that don't fit anywhere else. Now that I've tackled what we're keeping, I'm left with this big pile of things. Those things that I know can be thrown away, I put into the recycling. And those things that we don't really use, but someone else may find them useful, I add to our decluttering pile. Then I'm left with a few things that I'm not too sure about, so I'll ask their owners what they think, and we discuss whether to keep them or whether to let them go. Sure, I'm really glad that's done. I've been meaning to do that for a long time, and I'm glad that we could declutter so many plastic things. So, as I have shared in one of my previous videos, we are hoping to become homesteaders soon. But even here in our suburban garden, I've been trying to grow more and more vegetables. And this week I have harvested my purple potatoes. I love planting all sorts of slightly unusual vegetables. We can get regular potatoes at our grocery store really inexpensively. So just for fun, I planted these unusual potatoes called Double Fun, which I bought at a company called Living Seeds. They are dark purple on the outside and have purple circles on the inside. Isn't that so cool? So at the beginning of summer, I planted my little potatoes slightly under the soil and covered them with lots of mulch. Then throughout the summer we would add leaves from around the garden to almost cover the plants. After the plants had died down, we left them for a few more weeks before harvesting them. I wanted to try making something fun with these double fun potatoes, so I tried a hack of making potato chips in the microwave oven by covering the thin potato slices with oil and salt and microwaving them for 3 minutes. But that wasn't too successful, so after a few more batches, I made the rest of them in the oven. I'm sure this is something that would work really great in an air fryer. Every month in our homeschooling we learn about a different country, and this month we are learning about France. So during the weekends we make a food from that country, and this weekend we made croissants. You'll find the recipe in the description. First you mix half of the milk, yeast and sugar. And let it stand for 10 minutes. Then you add the flour, the rest of the milk and salt, and knead until the dough comes together. Cover it and let it rest until doubled. Turn the dough onto the floured surface and cut into 18 pieces. Roll out the ball into a round. Spread the round with batter. Roll out the next ball of dough. Put it on top of the first one and spread it with batter. Repeat for all 18 balls. Cover with plastic and freeze for 30 minutes. Take out of the freezer and roll the dough out. Cut into 12 wedges. Roll up each piece beginning with the wide edge. Start by rolling each side of the notch first to keep the center from being too thick. Put onto a baking sheet and leave to rise. Brush with a mixture of egg yolk and a tablespoon of milk. Bake in a preheated oven at 180 degrees Celsius or 350 degrees Fahrenheit for 20 minutes. And enjoy! Thank you so much for watching all the way to the end. So now for the real deal.
Today I want to tell you a story about our lunch boxes. Now I used to buy fancy character lunch boxes for my children, or if they saw something that they thought would work really well for their lunch boxes for school, then I would get that, or various types of bento boxes. So over the years I've tried all sorts of different lunchbox ideas for lunch boxes for my kids' school lunches. But then I had a problem. One of my children became one of those children that just lose their things the whole time. And so they would lose their lunchboxes the whole time, and this would kind of freak me out because it was a special lunchbox and it cost a lot of money, and how could they lose the lunchbox? And so I decided that's not the type of mom that I wanted to be. I didn't want to be someone that was stressing out about lost lunchboxes. So I came up with this nifty little plan to buy really cheap plastic containers that are very interchangeable. If you lose the bottom, you can just get another lid, or all the lids fit into each other so they fit nicely into the cupboard, they stack nicely. And I thought this is the solution, because then if a lunchbox gets lost, I don't have to freak out, I don't have to be angry. I can be one of those laid back moms that's like, oh, don't worry, it's just a lunchbox. Let's not get angry about a lunchbox. And this worked really well for a few months. Until one day that I needed to go to school. I never really put much thought into what happened to the lost lunchboxes. So off we went to school for a school function, and as we were walking along in the playground, oh, there's one of my children's lunchboxes, and carry on walking, oh, there's another lunchbox. And we walk down the corridor, oh, there's another lunchbox, and walk a little bit further, and there's another one. And we get to the class, and there's a lunchbox on top of the table, a lunchbox underneath the table, a lunchbox in the reading corner, lunchboxes everywhere. I'd never thought about what happened to those lost lunchboxes. And the whole school was covered in lost lunchboxes. Now, a lunchbox isn't like a packet of chips, that if someone were to see a chip packet on the floor, they'd realize it's a piece of litter and pick it up and throw it in the bin. The lunchbox, if you see a lunchbox lying around, you'd walk past it and think, oh dear, someone lost their lunchbox. I'm sure they're going to come back just now and come look for their lunchbox. And you'd leave it there in the hope that that child will go back and go and fetch the lunchbox. So with my attitude of, oh, let's not worry about the lunchboxes, there were my child's lunchboxes just everywhere, all over the school. So we went and we collected all the lunchboxes, and there were really old banana peels and apple cores and growing sandwiches and all sorts of disgusting things in these lunchboxes. And so I decided I will continue using these really cheap lunchboxes, but I will require the lunchboxes to come home, because even though they are not expensive and they are not valuable in any way, we don't want to cause any litter. And so I don't freak out if the lunchbox goes missing, but I do require that if they see a lunchbox of their own lying around, that they must please pick it up and bring it home. Thank you so much for joining me, and I look forward to seeing you again next week. Bye!